Hi guys, my name is Sabrina from The Power Within Us, and we are here today at a very special guest house. And Andrew, thank you so much for having us here.
Welcome.
Such a pleasure to be invited to such a great home with all these treasures around.
Thank you.
So would you please tell us what is your line of work?
So, oh wow, basically I'm a trainer. I teach people in practical Taoist philosophies, so that is a combination of Chi-Gong, energy type of healing,
Oh, wow.
crystal work. I work as a kinesiologist, as a hypnotherapist. I teach meditation, so I cover pretty much everything to do with energy work.
Oh wow. And how did you start? Why did you decide to work with that?
By accident, literally.
Okay.
When I was about 14 years old, I had a car accident. Was crossing the road, car drove into my knee, shattered my knee, and my life was pretty much over at the time. Couldn't do any sports, couldn't walk properly, so the cartilage burst.
Oh wow.
And ever since it was bone on bone. So Western medicine at the time told me, come back in 10 years, maybe we can synthesize cartilages, so
Oh,
we'll
wow.
be able to help you. And I was on painkillers for a long time. And this is how I got into spirituality. I mean, my parents are spiritual people already. They are Reiki teachers, so
Oh,
they taught me how
amazing.
to work with energy. And I started doing different types of energy healings. From that, I got onto crystal healing, yoga, then it was Tai Chi. And then finally, around when I was at university level, I discovered something called HSP, Higher Sensory Perception Trainings.
Okay.
And I've gotten really into it, which is a combination of all the things that I've listed earlier.
Okay, amazing. And you also work with devices.
That's right.
So with Orgonites, Orgone, made of Orgone. So please
right.
tell us about.
So basically, how I've got into that is I was always curious about what type of tools were the ancients using for their magic.
Oh.
Right, every wizard is being represented with a wand or a stick. They have crystals. In Egypt, the pharaohs are using the ankh or other crazy type of devices. And if you're traveling the world and you're looking at all the spiritual cultures, you see they all use certain type of tools. So I thought, what are those tools?
Okay.
Right? And this is how I started reading a lot about it, studying sacred geometry, and from there I started playing around with crystal grids and then added copper in there and ankh and sacred geometry, etc. And over the years I found the research of Wilhelm Reich, who is the godfather of Orgonites, and he basically figured out that if you're layering organic and inorganic materials, that serves as a magnet to chi energy.
Oh.
Now, what he also discovered is that there's something which is POR, positive orgone energy,
Okay.
and DOR, deadly orgone energy.
Oh.
So, chi energy, so prana, chi, orgone,
Yes.
one and the same thing. Yeah?
Okay.
But he discovered that some of this energy can be positive to the human body and some of it can be negative to a human body. So, energy that is being created by electricity, machines, etc. is usually of a negative type of vibration. So what he has done is, because he couldn't keep those two frequencies separated, he moved his clinic into a really rural area where there's no bad energies around.
Okay.
Made this huge organ generating rooms, and he was putting people in there for healing, etc. He had amazing results.
Oh wow.
And obviously the FDA at some stage figured out that there's this guy that is doing magic.
Okay.
And destroyed all of his research, put him away, and he died behind bars. Very similar to the Tesla story, basically. Whereas Tesla went into electricity, Reich went into the exploration of etheric devices.
Oh wow.
Like what can attract energy. So then in 2000, there was another couple, Dan and Carol Croft, and basically they rediscovered the Orgonite research. And as Carol was a very spiritual type of person, she was channeling a lot of information. So she said that what you can do, instead of making those huge rooms that have those different layers of organic and non-organic, what you could do is you can make the same thing really small. All you would need to do is put a quartz crystal in the center of it.
Okay.
So you have a mix of 50% different type of metals, 50% of organic resin, mix it up, chuck a quartz into the center, and when the resin is drying, what it does, it creates pressure on the crystal. Now we know that if you have pressure on a crystal, it polarizes energy. There's one pole becomes plus, the other pole becomes minus. So now all the positive and negative energy that is being attracted is being purified. Right? So that's basically what an Orgonite does.
So it purifies, transmutes energy,
that's right.
Negative into positive.
That's right. And it picks up on any type of frequencies in your environment, whether we're talking of microwaves, whether we're talking broadband, mobile phone, etc.
Oh, great.
It uses this energy, which usually has a negative charge, and transforms it into the positive. So once I realized that there are some people already on the ball game here, I started looking into where does this link to. And if you're looking at sacred sites, for instance, where you have two different streams of water, yin and yang water crossing, and then usually you have a sacred site on top of that. And if you look at those sacred sites, they are usually layered organic, inorganic, organic, inorganic. So this principle is being used already. Right? Then we look at the tools of the Egyptians. They used organic, inorganic, organic, inorganic. And then obviously they all added crystals to that, and I thought, alright, if this knowledge appears in so many places at the same time, there is something more to that. And then I really started digging into the research of Orgonites, what you can do with them.
And then you started making them, basically.
That's right. So our first Orgonites were pretty much very basic. It was about 8 years ago. And again, I'd shove a little bit of metal shavings in and resin, put a quartz crystal inside, and play around with measuring how much energy does actually come off.
Okay. And you can measure it then?
Well, there are some things that you can measure and something that we cannot measure. If you have Orgonites and you have an ion meter next to an electrical appliance, for instance, right? So you're measuring how many ions are coming off it. You put an Orgonite next to it, and you will get a different reading. Right? It drops. So obviously it does something positive.
Okay.
The way how we test it, and I know that might be, it's not the mainstream type of view of it, but we use kinesiology. So muscle testing for it.
Okay,
The different types of kinesiology. The old school testing is with the gamma 1, so I don't know, you have your hand up and then the therapist presses down on it. The newer type of kinesiology is the therapist resist and you're the one that is pushing. It uses a different circuit of the brain to test, and you can actually see yourself how much power do you have. The therapist cannot overpower you. So this is what we use. However, you can douse it on the Bose scale, how much energy is being given off, etc.
Okay, that's very interesting.
If people do want to know more about how to measure Chi, there is a book by Lynn McTaggart, The Field, the Intention Experiment, which has so much research.
I've read it. I've read The Intention Experiment. Is amazing. Yeah.
So you can find out there how Chi energy can be measured nowadays. It's not a woo concept anymore.
Exactly. Now quantum physics is really, starting to approach spirituality and energy in a whole new level.
Yeah, closer and closer to each other.
Definitely. Talking about science, I would like to ask you as well a question we ask our guests. So, do you believe in God, and what does God mean to you?
I believe that there is some sort of consciousness out there.
Okay.
And I mean, to answer your question in a really short way, yes, absolutely. I do believe that there is something that we refer to as God. I do not believe it's the guy sitting on a cloud with a long beard. I do not believe it has gender attached, and I do not believe that God is actually connected necessarily to religion. I believe that God is everything that is, and everything that is not, and everything that will be and ever was. And I believe that there is an evolution to God. Right? God is not like, okay, I create everything and then I'm just gonna sit there and watch it. It's more God split itself up into everything to experience everything there is, So there's an expansion, and there's going to be a contraction back into remembering, back into God.
Yeah,
That
amazing.
type of thing.
Yeah. Great. And talking about experience, I wanted to ask you as well, what has been the most amazing thing that you have experienced in your journey, or what was the greatest experience, dark or light? I don't know if you'd like to share with us.
I've seen many miracles throughout the time. I mean, from people being cured from things that Western medicine does not believe that they can be cured of. People performing stuff which defies gravity.
Oh wow!
But for me personally, the deepest and most transformative experience was the shamanic medicinal plants. I had a certain intellectual understanding of spirituality through my trainings, and also as well a lot of experience. However, once I took the sacred plants, all the things that I was believing in, right, from mythical creatures over angels, over alien agenda, all of the things that I had a concept of, I could access it from a different type of space. So I would say that intellectual understanding became just understanding, like knowing. So that was the most transformative experience for me. And from hell all the way up to heaven, I went through all of it.
Okay, amazing. Well, thank you so much, Andrew. It's been really a great pleasure to come to your home and to get to know you. And
it's a pleasure having you. Thank you guys for being here.
Thank you guys for watching. Take care.